Stepping out of her father's gleaming sports car, Chloe adjusted her designer sunglasses, a smirk playing on her lips. She was meeting her friends at the Gilded Spoon, the city's most exclusive new restaurant. For Chloe, dining out wasn't just about food. It was a performance, a chance to showcase her status. She glided past the host, her eyes scanning the opulent decor with an air of entitled approval. This was her stage, and she was ready for her audience. Her friends, draped in equally expensive attire, were already at the best table in the house. "Chloe, darling, you're finally here," Tiffany squealed, air-kissing both of Chloe's cheeks. The table was a sea of luxury handbags and sparkling jewelry. They immediately launched into their favorite topic, judging everyone else in the room. Their laughter was sharp, their comments dripping with disdain for anyone they deemed lesser. A young waiter approached their table, his smile warm and genuine. "Good evening, ladies. My name is Leo, and I'll be taking care of you tonight. Can I start you off with some of our signature sparkling water?" His uniform was simple but immaculate, his posture poised. Chloe, however, only saw the uniform. She didn't even look up from her phone, waving a dismissive hand. "Just water. And try not to be too slow about it." The insult hung in the air, but Leo's smile didn't falter. He simply nodded and walked away. Throughout the evening, Chloe's condescension only grew. She snapped her fingers to get Leo's attention, complained that her steak was a degree too rare, and scoffed when he recommended a dessert. "As if you could afford to even taste this," she muttered to her friends, loud enough for him to hear. Leo remained professional, a pillar of calm patience against her storm of arrogance. He refilled her water glass with a steady hand, his expression unreadable, even as her friends giggled at her cruel remarks. As the meal concluded, Chloe decided to deliver her final, most cutting blow. "You know," she said, looking directly at Leo for the first time, her voice dripping with fake pity, "it must be so sad. Serving people like us all day, knowing you'll never have this life." She paused for dramatic effect. "Don't you ever wish you were more than just a waiter?" Her friends smirked, watching Leo, expecting him to crumble. But Leo didn't crumble. Instead, a small knowing smile touched his lips. He reached into his pocket, not for his order pad, but for a set of keys. He placed them gently on the table. On the keychain was a sleek silver emblem, the very same one that adorned the grille of a brand new luxury sports car, a model even more exclusive than her father. Chloe's jaw dropped. Her friends fell silent. The emblem was unmistakable. It was the key to a car worth more than her entire college fund. Chloe stared, her mind racing, unable to connect the humble waiter with this symbol of immense wealth. "What? How?" She stammered, the words catching in her throat. Her carefully constructed world of superiority was shattering around her. The waiter she had spent the entire evening belittling was, impossibly in a league she could only dream of. "My father believes in hard work," Leo said softly, his voice calm and even. "He insisted I work here for a year before joining the family business. He wanted me to understand the value of service, of treating every single person with respect, no matter what they do for a living." He picked up the keys. "He owns this restaurant." The words landed like a thunderclap. The Gilded Spoon wasn't just a place Leo worked. It was his inheritance. A wave of hot shame washed over Chloe. Every cruel word, every dismissive gesture, every arrogant laugh replayed in her mind. She had judged him, mocked him, and tried to humiliate him based on nothing but his uniform. And, in the end, she was the one who was completely and utterly humiliated. Her friends were staring at her, their expressions a mixture of shock and second-hand embarrassment. The power dynamic had been flipped in an instant. Leo looked at her, but there was no malice in his eyes, only a quiet disappointment. "The car, the money, none of it matters if you don't have kindness," he said. "That's the real wealth." He then picked up the bill, crossed it out with a pen, and wrote a single word on it. "Lesson." He placed it back on the table in front of Chloe and walked away. leaving her speechless in the silent, gaping ruin of her own making. Chloe sat frozen, the single word on the bill burning into her memory. Lesson. It was more than just a free meal. It was a life-altering rebuke. She finally understood. Status wasn't about designer bags or expensive cars. It was about character. Humility, kindness, respect. These were the true measures of a person's worth. As she left the restaurant that night, the city lights seemed less bright, and her own reflection felt foreign. She was no longer the proud, arrogant girl who had walked in. Years passed. Chloe never forgot that night. She changed. She volunteered, she listened, she learned to see the person, not the uniform. One day, she found herself managing a community soup kitchen. A young man, down on his luck, came in. He looked defeated. Chloe smiled warmly, handed him a tray, and said, "Welcome. We're happy to have you." In that simple act of kindness, she finally paid forward the lesson Leo had given her. Her heart filled not with pride, but with genuine, heartfelt gratitude. This story reminds us that you can never judge a book by its cover. True wealth isn't in our bank accounts, but in how we treat others. A little kindness can change everything. Thanks so much for watching. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring content. See you next time.